Hi, welcome to Hannah. Yeah. Hi, welcome to Help with Hannah and Calvin. I'm Calvin Reed.
I'm Hannah Jones, and we're here to answer your questions. I didn't time it right. Can you do the ad read?
Yeah. This podcast is brought to you by Little India. This is a beloved, local, family-owned restaurant with 4 locations throughout the Denver area and a coffee shop. Some of my favorites on the menu include the chicken korma, tamarind margarita, and all the samosas. If you live in Colorado, you should make this place a regular stop, and if you're visiting our great city, be sure you don't miss Little India. Visit littleindiadenver.com to find a location near you.
And thank you to Dude IDK Studios in Denver, where we are recording.
Hey.
I finished them. I swallowed.
Okay,
I was
good.
eating some sour strips as we began, and I thought I would chew faster.
Because the blue raspberry sour strips deserve their own spotlight. Mm-hmm.
They're quite good.
They're amazing. They're sour. Wait, what is the brand?
I've never
Sour
been
strips?
a sour strip person. I mean, I'm truthfully not a candy person, but in my old age, sometimes I need a little blood sugar. You know,
I've always been a candy guy. I've always liked the sour stuff, and get me blue raspberry. Truly, blue raspberry is honestly one of those flavors. Like I don't get how people in 1345 were able to live because they didn't have blue raspberry. They had the plague and no blue raspberry. How did they not kill themselves?
Didn't they have sort of like raspberry?
I don't know.
And also, I feel like a lot of them did kill themselves.
I don't think suicide. Well, I don't know.
I feel like everyone before phones just killed themselves.
Like, I really am like, what'd y'all do? Like, what?
Straight up.
Like,
they died at like 40 from
That's
a cavity.
True. That's true. Or like a UTI that just could never be fixed.
Yeah. Or like 6 months old due to just babies couldn't really hack it.
Oh my gosh. So my roommate took me to the Central City Blackhawk Cemetery this past weekend. Obsessed with it. Me and my roommate love walking around cemeteries. It's like so spoopy, but like also fun and historical. Do you not like? Do you
no,
not?
sorry.
Do you not
It's just you talking in that tone of voice about a cemetery is very jarring.
Well, it gets worse.
I love a spoopy vibe.
I
so
love
fun,
it.
so cute, and historical.
Looking at all of the dead
to boot.
bodies. It's so great. But it was really sad. There were so many kid graves. So, that was pretty rough. But someone brought like little kid toys, so they were like little, and they were like obviously gross because they're out in the elements, but there were all these like little teddy bears around all the kids' graves. It was really cute. It's like a hike. It's really cool.
Okay. Good for I guess. Okay, wait, this is gonna make me sound my community, my culture doesn't have good traditions around death. So whenever people talk about like delivering a toy to a grave, I'm like, what? But why? But then I have to remember that it's just because like I have psycho.
We have like
genetics.
very Americanized views of death. Yeah.
And Americans don't deal with death well, like statistically.
No, we don't. I just thought it was cute because like there are so many kids when you think about it. Like a lot of the kids died in like 1890 or the early 1900s.
Which means nobody knows them.
Yeah, but like
Why would you give a toy to a kid you don't know?
because I think it's just like a good symbol of like goodwill because odds are that kid died and it's not like they could go to a hospital or anything, like they couldn't hack it in the Colorado winter or whatever, and so I think it's just a way to just be like, hey, someone remembers you, like somebody, and if they are ghosts they can play with the toy that's been used by the weather. I think it's a cute gesture.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like I deal with death really, really well, but I do love a good cemetery.
I think just out of all of the graves to pay attention to, the ones of people who nobody alive today knows, I'm like, odd.
Yeah, but then I look at it and I'm like, wow, you had a whole life. Like, that's kind of crazy.
No, they didn't. They had a famously fractional one.
Maybe not the kids, but like adults or something like that, where like nobody knows. I'm like, wow, like,
yeah,
like it's crazy.
My favorite, I had a creative writing class in college. We did an exercise where we went to a grave and wrote a story about one that we found and I found. It was a married couple, and they got married, and then like 2 years later, the wife died at a very young age. She was like 25 or something. Okay. And the husband died within, I want to say, 6 weeks. And the stone said they were not separated long.
I love that.
Yeah, it was really
like, that's
cute.
really sweet. There was actually this one gravesite. It was, oh my gosh, I took a picture of it because it was so freaking crazy. Because like this bitch has a great sense of humor. Her gravesite said Karen, her name Karen, and then it said "Till death do us part?" ? and then there's like it's just like at trees. Like, it's not like a real headstone. Someone just put her name, no date of death or anything, and just said "till death do us part?" ?
Wait, oh, is she just like saving the spot?
That would be kind of funky if she was "till death do us part." Like,
And
why?
she's like, we'll see if my husband ends up here.
She's like, well, let's see if he's done what's needed.
This plot twist, she's single. She's like, my future husband is going to be buried next to me.
And we're going to love it. I mean, because I don't really think there are a lot of very modern day graves at that gravesite because it's really filled with trees. Like, it's definitely an older, there are newer ones in the same area because there's like 4 within like a block of each other, I guess. And the one where I found that one is easily the most crowded, the most tree covering.
Weird.
Like, yeah. So that's why I was like, did she run away? I thought she ran away, and the husband was like, "till death do us part?" Question.
Wait, so the husband was like, fuck this bitch who left me.
That's what I think it was.
I'm gonna go get a custom grave made.
That's kind of what I think it was,
referencing how she was supposed to die with me, and she didn't because she's a bitch.
I think so.
That's crazy. Men will do anything except go.
I don't know. Yeah, I would say they'll do any. That was genuinely my first thought. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just like the fact that it made me think it's good art.
Yeah.
And good for her. I love it.
Good for him.
So, Hannah, you got a speeding ticket.
I did get a speeding ticket. I was speeding by a lot. It was this one little section of the road. I was speeding by a lot, but for not very long. Mm-hmm. It was this one little section of the road, and the road usually has traffic, so there was one section that was clear, and I was like, great. Mm-hmm. And I was going downhill, and I was just like getting to the next. And I remember there was a moment where I clocked my actual speed, and I was like, whoa. That was really fast, Hannah. You don't need to speed by that much. And then literally a second later, there's a moped behind me with flashing lights.
A moped pulled you over?
Yeah, dude.
That's demoralizing.
Which,
I'm
how
sorry.
fast can you really be going if a moped can pull you over?
No, but like low-key though.
I do not need this expense right now. It's so fucked up. I'm such an idiot. I have this thing where like, a lot of times with those like good behavior things, it's like I have such good behavior and then it slips and slips and slips over time until all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck, I can't just be speeding everywhere willy-nilly.
Yeah. No, you definitely have to be like so cautious,
this will keep me in check for a few years. For sure.
I'm kind of the same way. The first time I got pulled over, I was 16, and I cried about it. I cried all the way to play rehearsal.
I always cry because it's sometimes, you know, I just assume someday a cop will, like, give me a warning. You know what's fucking crazy? One time I was in the car with my ex, and he had just bought... Well, he had bought a sports car. Mm-hmm. And the sports car, when you have it, you can't rev beyond like 4,000 RPMs for the first 1,000 miles because you need to like break in the engine, apparently, is a thing. God, and when we hit 1,000 miles, he was like, okay, like, let's see what this baby can do. And we were on our way back from Boulder, and he just like sped really fast to get around this clump of traffic and got pulled over. And the cop was like, do you know how fast you were going? And he was like, yeah, to be honest, I just hit 1,000 miles. And the cop was like, yeah, that's a really beautiful car. And he's like, thanks. Yeah. I just got caught up in the excitement. And then he came back with a warning, and I have literally never gotten a warning.
Neither have I. And I'm like likable. Like, I thought that was like a selling point for me.
Warnings go to blonde girls, not fucking mulleted men. But he probably thought he was a Republican because he had a mullet in a sports car and was quite sheepish about getting pulled over. So he was probably like, this
I
man
can picture
needs
this.
a
I can
little
picture this
help
like
today.
interaction happening, and you sitting in the passenger seat, just being like,
I was livid. I was like, get back here right now and give him a speeding ticket.
yeah.
Although, to be clear, you give him a speeding ticket, I won't get a birthday gift. So
when you told me you got one, I was like, that kind of shocked me because you give off warning vibes.
Thank you so much. Cops don't feel that way. Although what I will say is that the speeding ticket, whatever he clocked me at, was dramatically less than the amount I was speeding by when I was at my fastest on that little hill. So It definitely could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah, the first time I got caught speeding was like a place really close to my house on my way to play rehearsal. and well, actually the thespian officer meeting, if we're going to be that specific. And then I missed the meeting and had to go to rehearsal because I was getting pulled over. And he just clocked me. He was harsh to me the whole time. And then the second time I got pulled over, I genuinely did not think I was speeding. I actually thought I was going less than the speed limit, but the speed limit had changed. It's on a road where it happens all the time, and I don't drive on that road anymore for that reason. It goes from like 60 to 45 in like 200 feet, and it's just like, hope you see it. And it was snowy, and I was like, well, I'll go less than 60 so that I'm going less than the speed limit. And then all of a sudden I got pulled over, and I was like, bruh. And he was chill with me. He still gave me a ticket, but he was like, I think he could tell I was genuinely like, what I didn't think I like did. Like, I'm kind of confused here. And I'm not going to argue with the cop because I don't want to get shot. So, you know, I'll let him do his thing.
Yeah.
It's vibes. But, so you're not a big candy person, but I want to go back. I want to go back to candy. Fine. What is your favorite candy? Are you chocolate?
Peanut M&Ms.
Yeah. That's a good one. You know what I hate are the fucking pretzel ones.
That's my movie theater / Monday is a really hard day for me, or it's just a really long day of like work. I just basically on Mondays work from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Wow. And doing various different work things. Yeah. But so before I go coach improv, which is like my last work thing of the day, I get myself a Diet Coke and a package of peanut M&Ms. But you know what pisses me the fuck off about peanut M&Ms?
What?
No one sells, and this pisses me off about candy in general. No one will sell a reasonable size portion of candy, generally. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to find a standard size package of peanut M&Ms. All you can find is the share size, which has 3 standard serving sizes and 2 standard serving sizes. Sure, I'm a growing girl. Like, I'm a bitch with an appetite. I'll eat 2 serving sizes for sure. Yeah. But I don't need to be eating 3. 3 will give me a tummy ache. And it's just insane for you to put 3 in a container, because that means that if I eat 2, when am I going to eat just like 7 more peanut M&Ms,
and it's not
you know?
resealable, and it's annoying.
It's so frustrating. And if it was resealable, it would be big enough to the point where it'd be hard to keep track of how many you're actually eating. They do that with gummy candies as well. Mm-hmm. It's so frustrating to me. I would love a small package of gummy bears that's like 1 or 2 ounces, you know? There's just like 2 standard serving sizes of gummy bears, which is obviously 1 serving size. Yeah. Same with fruit snacks. They only sell the thing that's like 5 sizes of fruit snacks.
Yeah, I totally get that. So you've never bought the 5-pound bag of gummies before?
I mean, I'm sure I have. I'm just sure it gave me a tummy ache 3 days in a row.
Oh, it did. When I bought it of the Sour Patch Kids, the roof of my mouth gone. Oh, completely destroyed.
Me and my family, we have a tradition where we get big ass bags of Sour Patch Kids for Christmas, and then my brother, who loves Sour Patch Kids the most, would get one of those jars of Sour Patch Kids. My mouth is watering on the thought of that. And it was so good, and we would eat the whole thing on our way to and from New Mexico, which is a 30-hour car ride. No, 36 hour car ride.
Yeah. There's something about Sour Patch Kids, but then if you do have too many, it destroys the roof of your mouth, and you have a stomach ache.
And destroys your tongue as well. Then we would arrive in New Mexico and try to eat delicious fucking Tex-Mex. Nope, not happening.
Yeah. What's your favorite Sour Patch Kid flavor?
Oh, I don't think they taste different, but red. Okay.
They do
I
taste
changed
different.
my mind immediately. Red and yellow. Red, yellow, and orange. Like a handful of red, yellow, and orange. I just don't like the green ones. That's it.
I love the red and blue. Again, because it's blue raspberry.
Okay, fair.
To me, they taste completely different. Each one. Much like Skittles, completely different. But yet good together.
I hate Skittles textures.
I love Skittles. I like how they make me salivate. I love how they like make my mouth do extra work.
One time, I was doing mushrooms with my friend on a camping trip, and she was like, hey guys, do you want to eat these mints that I have? I just bought them online. There's these special mints that are designed to make your mouth water. And we were all kind of like, what? Yeah, and she was like, yeah, well, and when you're sucking a dick, but.
Oh, yeah.
But so then we all ate them, and then we were like, this is so much. She's like, this is really nice when you're high and you have dry mouth, but we all kind of agreed, like, when you're on mushrooms, it is way too much.
I can imagine.
Sensory input.
I've never done those. I've done the mouth numbing mints that you get from Spencer's.
What are those for?
Sucking dick.
Why would I want my mouth to be numb?
So that it doesn't hurt. I don't know. I didn't
I barely feel. It's like there's not even a dick in here. That's crazy.
I didn't try it, but I put in the numbing mints, and I was like, this feels weird.
A huge part of what am I gonna numb my fucking pussy too? It's a huge part of sucking dick is that you can feel that there's a dick in your mouth. Do you hate the feeling of having a dick in your mouth?
No, but have you tried numbing lube before? Because it's not the tea.
Correct.
It's so not the tea.
Because it feels good to have it. Hang on. I'm not walking through life just like, I wish I could put a dick in my mouth without having to feel it. The feeling it is like one of the pros of the dick in your mouth. I wish, in fact, that I could feel a dick in my mouth without having to actually have one in there.
No,
I think that's what I'm usually.
I think it's so that it doesn't like make you gag, but the problem is the mint dissolves in your mouth, so only your mouth is numb, but not your throat.
Correct.
So
and that's the only part that ever hurts. And also you need your throat to be able to feel it because it's like, this is why, okay, I don't take ibuprofen on a hike because like I get persistent knee pain, and if my knee starts hurting on a hike, I need to feel that pain and know that I'm not activating my posterior chain correctly, and I need to like dig my big toe in and lift my arch. Like it's so crucial for me to be able to know when when there's pain. And I feel the same way, like numbing my mouth, even if I could numb my throat before a blowjob, it's like that's a good way to injure your fucking throat, my dude.
Yeah,
like you need to be able to feel when you're at your limit.
I've never done it for dick sucking. I did it when I was like a senior in high school, excited to go to Spencer's, and I was like, let's do it and let's see if we can stick a pencil down our throat and like see if we feel it. So that's not a universal experience.
Pencil?
Yeah. Okay, so that's not a universal, like you stick a pencil
in the slightest.
You also do it with a cheese stick.
What kinds of dicks did you think you were gonna be sucking?
I don't know. I was straight. I didn't want to act like I knew about all the dick from all the gay porn I was watching.
You have one.
Well,
didn't you know what your own looked like?
Yeah, but I didn't know.
It doesn't look like a pencil, does it, Calvin?
No, it doesn't. But I didn't. Okay, you know. So you're right there. But I wasn't gonna like figure. I was like, ooh, we're just gonna do it and see if we can deep throat.
You were literally trying to convince everyone you were straight by being like, I don't even know what a dick looks like. Because I'm so straight.
Yes. No, like literally, yes. No, like actually, congratulations, you nailed it so on the head.
That's so silly.
No, I would literally be like, I'm so straight. Like I don't even like guys can't like guys. What are they? Not even.
That's
can't
honestly
even see them.
the
That's
most
how straight I am.
straight that you've ever seemed.
Really?
Because that's how straight men act. They're like, well, I've never thought about a man. In fact, I don't even see them. They're invisible to me.
I wish that's how they were to me. I really wish, but that's okay. No, but yeah, no, fully like straight Calvin was like, let's deep throat pencils to see how we're doing, ladies. Like I fully did that. And all of my friends did too. And half of them still identify as straight. So fuck that. And those half happen to do a great job.
And I think a big part of why they were able to identify as straight is because a pencil is nothing like a dick at the end of the day.
It's nothing. I've done both, and you're right. They're not comparable. The cheese stick is closer, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. If you bundled together 4 to 5 cheese sticks, 4, it would probably have the same sort of like hardness, turgidity.
Yeah. Actually, fun fact, Brendan, who was a guest on the pod a couple weeks ago, because he was a part of this in high school, he was the one who could stick the cheese stick furthest down his throat.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, and he also identified as straight at the time. And we were like, oh, good for you.
Remind me his fiance's name? Ian. Good for Ian.
No, honestly, though, good for him. No, yeah, because he would do it like the furthest. And I was like, damn, even after the numbing spray really doesn't work for your gag reflex.
Numbing spray for blowjobs?
Yeah, well, that's what Spencer said it was for.
What a sad life we live in. And then I still can't get past the fact that you said that they make numbing lube, which just very much feels like something that women used in the 50s of like, oh, ladies, I figured out how you can perform your wifely duties without that pesky feeling of it happening.
But it like low-key is not the tea. It like burns.
Oh, yeah. So the opposite of numbing.
Yeah, like I literally felt it more. The 2 times I used it, I was like,
oh, wait.
I don't think this is supposed to be.
Do you think it is not numbing lube at all? And in fact, it's lube that's supposed to feel awesome?
It didn't feel awesome. It felt horrible each time. It just
hurt?
Yeah, and I was like, this is weird.
Also, was it made for the butthole?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's just water-based lube.
Weird.
So you could use it anywhere. But they said it was meant because it had numbing agents to make that the start of it easier.
Oh,
Yeah.
to relax you.
That's what they called it, was relaxing. And so it kind of numbed it a little bit, but I actually found it to make it worse.
But it's muscular.
Yeah.
And it's not going to numb the muscles. It's not like you're getting a fucking cavity drilling where you want like your gums to be numbed. It's like it's a muscle and you want that muscle to relax.
Yeah. It didn't work.
Yeah.
It hurt. It made things worse.
Well, and the thing is that if you fuck up the mind muscle connection to your sphincter, then you're not going to be able to
cold and shit.
No.
Oh.
The way that you have anal is that you learn this is safe, and you use your mind muscle connection to relax that muscle and let it happen in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
And if you were to just take something to try to so that you don't feel it or something, if you were to take a bunch of fucking Tylenol or something, it's that doesn't actually make it easier to do. It just makes it so you don't feel the pain, but you could wake up with a fucking injury from that.
Yeah.
That's not safe.
And I, after buying the lube and not using it, I saw a TikTok that was you should not be doing this because it can it doesn't prevent injuries. It just hides them. And then the next day you'll wake up and have them. So I got rid of it. After the second time it didn't work because I was oh, it's only with this when it doesn't feel right. It feels fine everywhere else. So I was okay, cool. Wasted $20. That's fine.
Yeah.
You live and you learn. Can't complain. Worse things have happened. So I have this new crush. It's a guy. It's a geography guy on TikTok.
What happened to the guy who loves theater kids?
He's kind of on the rotation still. I mean, this geography guy, I don't know.
It's fizzled slightly. I just need an
we're
update.
working on we're gonna have a talk about what communication looks like based
off.
Oh,
is he not communicating enough?
It started off like perfectly fine, but I also have anxious attachment, so I do have to recognize that if it was up to me, I would talk to everybody 24/7. So I do have to recognize that that's on me. That is a not normal thing for me. I don't think he has anxious attachment, but I think at the start he was down for it, and I do think that has slowed down. So I'm waiting to send my response.
Yeah, I always feel when you start seeing someone, there's just more to talk about.
Yeah.
And then once you get back into your regular life and you're working all the time, it's how am I?
But then, yeah. And not everyone is like me. And so, and I have friends that I can vibe my anxious attachment with them because they're also, and so we can just talk all day and I have that outlet. So it's not like I am expecting it, but that was a change. And then I was really busy because I have family that comes into town every year for 4th of July. And so I was just doing a lot with them. So I was busy too, but I also am just I have literally no trust in men and the absolute worst luck. So I just take everything with heavy grain of salt. So I'm well,
it's always good to ask someone what their texting style is. Do you like texting? Because he could reveal no, I literally hate texting. I would rather just talk to you in person. And then you'll be oh, okay. Well, good thing I know that, and I'm not forcing a conversation.
Yeah. So he sent me a message, and I had my roommate read it, and I've had some of my friends read it, and they were oh yeah, I think it's more just a communication thing. But because I have anxious attachment and I don't trust men, my mind instantly goes to, okay, great, it's done, cool. And it could be. I'm really keeping my expectations low.
Aww.
But it could be, I don't know, but otherwise things
Sounded
are fine.
really promising to me. Okay, so anyway, sorry. Your new
this
crush
new
on
guy,
guy.
new guy who I'll never meet. And he I think he's straight, but and this is so lame. I've just realized I'm really attracted to intelligence because the other guy that I'm talking to.
Are you talking about the GeoGuessr?
No, his name's Geography Joe.
Oh.
And all he does is talk about the 50 states, state geography and why population maps are the way that they are.
Hot.
And literally,
can I look him up right now?
Look him up right now.
Keep explaining him.
And
while
he
I do.
literally, I've watched probably 25 out of the 50 states so far, and I'm in love with it. I got my tires rotated. No, I got my tires changed last week, and I just I just needed something to keep my attention. And he's not that hot or anything, but listening to him talk about geography is the sexiest thing on the planet. And it's 10 minutes of it. I learned something new. I'm now attracted to him because he's intelligent, but the other guy I'm talking to is also really intelligent.
So again, Calvin keeps saying, because he's so intelligent, I'm really attracted to intelligence. You should know that his content is map of every Arby's in America, map of every Scooter's Coffee in America.
But he goes
map of every Taco John's in America.
The Taco John's video was great.
Wyoming is the least populous state. Why?
But it's cool. He goes into reasons why, and I'm literally just why am I
map
attracted
of
to this
every
man?
Olive Garden in the U.S.
It's so cool, though.
Slim Chickens? Anyone heard of this? Map of every Slim Chickens restaurant in the U.S.
I will have to watch that video.
Why is A&W so much bigger in Canada?
It's actually really interesting because a Canadian company bought it. Like, I'm telling you, dude, I know you're laughing. I'm being dead serious, and I'll marry him.
I love that for you. Congratulations on your upcoming nuptials.
I literally will marry this man, and I do think he's straight. But every time by the end of it, I'm just like, God, you're passionate. Gay to me. I hope so.
Wait, let's listen to his voice for a second.
Time to explain how county hunting.
Oh, that's a straight voice.
That's a straight voice, yeah. But no, there's just something about, and I realized, like, because on our last date, the guy that I'm currently talking to, whenever he gets into his job stuff, he always ends it with like, so I imagine that was so interesting, and I'm like, the problem is it was. Like, the problem is you talking about concrete because you're so passionate about it. It made me more interested in concrete. Yes. So I've exactly kind of always known that. Like, all of the guys I've dated, whenever they have something they're passionate about, I like learning about that passion. And I like the fact that they know so much about it. I think it's cool.
I love when men talk about workplace drama and office politics.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, yeah, she's such a fucking bitch. But I, sent her this email saying that I was going to circle back. And I'm like, wow.
That's my roommate talking about her work drama. And I'm like, yeah.
Not my little Otto Hightower.
My little Otto Hightower. I'm just caught up on House of Dragons, so I'm like flipping my shit.
Literally, I've been living, and I am the least. I'm not a TV girl. I don't, except for now I am. I have been obsessed with Love Island and obsessed with House of the Dragon. I think I've been craving dissociation because I don't find joy in my real life lately.
Yes.
Depression, that's what it is.
Depression.
I was telling my friends, I was like, yeah, I'm like, haven't been happy in a while. And also, weirdest thing, because I'm a fucking Capricorn, I've been like forgetting shit when I go places and like getting places late. And like, that's why I got the fucking speeding ticket, as I was like running late to a thing that I had no reason to run late to. And they're like, oh yeah, that's like a symptom of depression. And I was like, oh, of course. That makes sense. I am depressed.
Whenever I find out a symptom of depression, I just like thought it was a fun little personality quirk I had. And then they're like, fun fact, much bigger symptom of something worse. And it was like, oh, yeah. I thought I was just like different. Good to know. Yeah, the being late thing. Wow, I'm just late to everything.
I just feel like a mess. It's embarrassing. I'm not one of those people.
No
offense.
No, it's okay. I give a lot of leeway for people being late to things because I just am late. Like I've tried. I'm not as bad as I used to be. Late. Yeah, like, and I tried, if I am late, I do try to be like within a 5-minute mark. Like I really do try and give myself, but I have gotten better. And then there are some things that for some reason, if I have any control over it, I will not run late to.
Yeah.
Like play rehearsal or like a comedy show. Like I don't run late to those, but I run late to literally everything Else. I've been on time for therapy maybe twice, ever. Both times my therapist was like,
see, I will always be on time for therapy because I'm paying for the hour. So you bet your ass I'm going to get the whole fucking hour.
That makes sense. I don't know. It's like the first 5 minutes, I'm just like, and I'm also, I don't need to be like lubricated by my therapist to like open up. I'll just sit down and be like, here's the traumas from this week. Like, I don't need that. So I can really hit the ground running. So when I get there, I'll just do what I can. I found out some people don't do that. And I'm like, what?
I hate when your therapist starts like looking at the clock and doing the like classic wrap up message. Sometimes I would do this thing if my therapist was annoying me by looking at the clock. I would just like I would start crying and confessing a really big trauma right at the end so that she felt really awkward and couldn't like neatly wrap everything up. I'd be like, yeah, bitch, my mind doesn't respect your billable hours.
See, and then there's mine. I keep track on the clock for them so that I don't drop something too big so that I don't have to think about it in a different way for the rest of the week. Like, I'm like, let me drop what I can in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we can work it out for the next 40 and we're set.
Last time that I went to therapy, I would like have to metabolize it for like 2 hours afterwards of crying.
I never cry during therapy. I've been going to therapy on and off since 2020. The longest break I've taken was, I think, 6 months. Never cried during a session. I've cried after a session like 5 times maybe.
That's crazy to me.
It never makes me cry. The first time I opened up in group therapy in college, I cried after that. And then I cried a couple of times when I was in a depressive episode in 2020 after therapy. I never cried during.
Damn.
And then I just don't. I feel cathartic afterwards. Like, I feel like I've let like I feel happier when I leave therapy.
No, I feel like I've picked a scab and I'm bleeding now.
That's what my friends say. I literally feel like I got a scab. Like I literally feel like something. Like I feel like I put a
You're
Band-Aid
doing
on.
therapy better than us.
It's hard to be me, bitch.
Okay, and on that note, we'd love to get into some questions, but first we have announcements. I have shows coming up if you live in Savannah, New York City, or Philadelphia. Get on my text list. I'll have ticket links up soon. Boston is canceled. We gave up on Boston. Boston would not give us a good venue, so come down to New York City. It's a hop, skip, and a jump away. It's a quick train ride, I assume. It's like an hour and a half or whatever. I have literally no idea.
It's like 2.5, but yeah.
Okay, well, I'll try to come back to Boston sometime in the future, but I gotta be honest, I got a bad taste in my mouth. So if you live in Boston and you really want me there, go call up your local black box theater and say, why do you charge so much for rent? Why do you only have either 50 seats or 200?
God.
What act is small enough to want 50 seats? And like 200 is like, yeah, that's just like a weird numbers. I feel like there's a lot of people who tour who want around 100.
I would say, what about the 100 to 150 mark? I feel like that's perfect.
Nothing in 100 to 150. And literally the only room that we found that was under 200, that was under 180, which was way too big for us, was 36 seated or 99 standing. And we were like, okay, can we like pay to bring extra chairs in? Can we rent extra chairs? And they're like, I don't know, maybe you could fit some chairs in. And then do you know have you ever worked with someone where like you'll just ask them a yes or no question and then they'll respond as if you're like begging them for something?
Yes.
Really uncomfortable.
It's like,
and
this
it's
is
like,
your job,
just
actually.
Just say no, bitch. Tell me no. Be brave. Put on your fucking big girl pants and tell me no. We don't want to deal with extra chairs coming in and out. That would be a hassle for us. But don't be like, I don't know, like maybe you could probably fit like a 70-ish. I don't know. Only to spring it on us that you have the highest rental fee I've ever fucking heard of. It's insane. Okay. Yeah, get on my text list for upcoming shows.
I will be in California the first week of August and New York / New Jersey the last week. I'm for sure going to be at let me pull out my calendar. On August 21st, I'll be at the Greenwich Village Comedy Club.
Oh, hell yeah.
Very excited for that show. So I'll be doing that, and then I'll be doing other stuff too, but that's what we have like for surezies on the calendar now. And then I'll be in Denver all of July and vibing throughout wherever people want me to speak at.
This podcast is sponsored by the Patreon. Patrons have first priority to get their questions answered, and they also receive a bonus episode every month, and it's only $3 to subscribe at patreon.com/HannahJonesCool.
If you want to ask a question to get answered in a future episode, you can find the link to that form in the podcast description or on either of our link trees or on any of our social media platforms.
Alrighty, question number 1. I moved to my city about a year ago and have a group of friends that I've known for about 8 months, so relatively new. When I first joined this friend group through sports, I became casual friends with someone in the group who I realized slowly over a couple of months I do not like being around. I don't think he is a nice person, he has quite a few narcissistic tendencies, comes off as ingenuine, and he frequently introduces us to girls he is dating after secretly talking unkindly about them to us. For some reason, the rest of my very kind, considerate, and humble friends seem to be okay, and some even close with this person, and I can't understand why. I have told only 2 people who are the least close to him that I do not invite him to my home anymore because he is often a bully and doesn't respect my boundaries, and I ask that they not tell anyone that I don't like this person. However, it has become an issue that although I never invite this person to my home, my other friends, besides the 2 I've confided in, often add him to the group chat for my barbecues, game nights, etc. at my home. I feel like I can't tell my friends that I dislike their friend, and I understand why they would invite him, even though I did not, given he's part of our group and they don't know my feelings, but I am at the point where I am very uncomfortable around this person and want to cancel parties once he's invited. I don't want to give up the other friends or not invite them over anymore, but I don't feel there's any way to communicate to them to not invite this guy. I am also so confused as to why they don't see how rude he is, as it is pretty objectively rude behavior and the rest of them are pretty objectively kind kind people. At this point, I don't want to have any parties if there's a chance he comes. For context, we are all around 26 years old. Thank you for any advice on how to handle this. Signed, this guy. Thanks for subscribing to the Patreon, this guy.
Honestly, this guy, very relatable. Very relatable content. I have been in this exact situation before where I'm like, they're really close to my friends, but I'm not close to them. So like when we go to that friend's house, like the mutual friend's house, we'll hang out, but it's like, I just am not close to you, but I understand you're like in the group, but I just like see things that I feel like maybe no one else sees. Like I've been in those shoes before for sure.
Yeah.
And I've been the friend who didn't see the person being rude and my friends did, because I also am sometimes naive when it comes to viewing people, and I take them at face value for better and for worse. So sometimes I'll be like, what? I don't even know. Like I've been both this guy and the friends that still invite somebody. I've been both before, and it's a shitty situation.
I feel like I really compartmentalize with like my actual close friends who would like not just like randomly invite someone extra to something I was throwing, and my acquaintances who I just don't really hold to those standards. And I have plenty of acquaintances that I mean through comedy that I like don't respect, don't admire, don't necessarily want to be around, who I think is a bully, a rude person with narcissistic tendencies. Like that's just kind of common in larger social circles.
Yeah.
And I would say that if you can't confide in anyone except for these two people, that's a larger circle. Like it sounds like you have two friends and then a larger network of acquaintances, and one of them is a guy that you hate. So then my question would be like, what kind of like level of behaviors are we dealing with here? Because it's not super clear.
No, it's pretty vague on like the boundaries that he's like, he doesn't follow at the house, which to me is like, do you not do you not clean up after yourself, or do you go into rooms with the doors closed that say don't go in here? Like I'm kind of confused on like what those boundaries are.
Narcissistic tendencies, comes off as ingenuine, frequently introduces us to girls he's dating and secretly talking unkindly about them to us. That's a hard boundary for me that a lot of comics will not respect. And they will like say shit about their girlfriend, and then I have to meet their girlfriend like the next show. And it is so frustrating to me. And I have told them straight to their fucking face, like, oh, I can't, like, now that I've met your girlfriend, I cannot listen to this conversation and leave the room. And I just leave the room.
Yeah.
Sometimes when people say they walk all over my boundaries, they won't respect my boundaries, my first thought is, what are you talking about? Because a boundary is, if you do this, I will respond this way. Mm-hmm. So unless they're sort of like holding a gun to your head, forcing you to stay in the room, I don't understand how like another person cannot respect your boundary. Your boundary is about what's going to happen if they do that. Of course they're going to keep doing that. Yeah. That's his fucking personality. So the boundary is how you were going to respond to that. Mm-hmm. And my curiosity is, okay, so what are those boundaries? Do you speak up in the group setting and say, I think that was a really unkind thing to say? And when you do that, you will find out really quickly why your friends are so loyal to him. Because what you're saying is like, they all seem so nice, but they're so, but they don't see how this guy is so mean.
Yeah.
But when you speak up in a group setting and you say, I just feel like that was such a shitty thing to say, and then all of your friends say, whoa, don't make it weird, you're going to immediately understand that your other friends are not that fucking nice. If they're enabling his objectively rude behavior, they're not objectively kind people. Mm-hmm. They're not objectively... Everybody is objectively kind until you see the thing that makes them rude, and it's just taking you longer to figure out. But like people who put up with, enable, and bring you into proximity to bad behavior like that, at a certain point they become culpable. And that point is like a couple weeks in. So case closed. These are not kind people. It might be that there are two of them that are kind people, and so you found a friend group at 26 and two of them are going to stick around, and that's a pretty normal life experience, to be honest. Like not everyone in every friend group are keepers, but that's my read on the situation.
I do think I'm kind of curious like what those boundaries are, how have they been broken, and like how has it been. Like, do you just, like, say something, like, is a group like, hey, don't go into this room, and then he does it because that's, like, very objectively not cool, or is it like something more?
But again, so a
Like,
boundary,
subtle?
like the official, like the reason that boundaries came to, it's a therapy term.
Yeah.
And the therapy term does not refer to don't go into the bedroom. That's
Yeah.
not a boundary at all. That's a command.
Yeah.
And a boundary is when you say, if you go into that bedroom, you will never be invited back to my house.
Yeah.
That's a boundary. And you get to decide whether the boundaries get crossed because the boundary is about your behavior.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
So I think maybe, I guess recognize like, is it boundaries that you're like specifically setting with like this person, or is it like with a group? Like, I would love some more information on that. But like, I don't know. Sometimes I really do be that like dumb bitch who kind of totally misses red flags in people. Like, I had a friend who like dated this guy who was like a fucking psychopath. I did not realize he was a psychopath until it was like kind of too late. Like, I would like view this guy as like a friend, and I was like, he's really cool. Like, he's not perfect, but he's really cool. And then my roommate met him, and she was like, Calvin, I literally got like bad vibes the second I saw him. It's why I didn't go hang out with you guys, is because I didn't like it. And I was like, I just sometimes like, because I am like a genuine, except in romantic relationships, I'm a very trusting person. So I'm just going to like genuinely think people want to do the best. I think people think like that. Like, I just think that's how everybody
totally.
is.
We all do that.
Yeah. So I just, sometimes
But
I'm like that naive bitch who just doesn't pick up on it.
If he's doing that shit in front of them, if he is literally, quite literally being able at your house in front of your friends, then that's not picking up on it.
No, that's true.
That's literally choosing to ignore on it.
Yeah.
Now, if he's not doing that shit every time he comes over, and he's only doing that shit privately to you, then I think that it might be just a situation of like, try to be in the friend group but avoid him to the best of your abilities.
Yeah, true. Because the friends that I've had in the friend group that I haven't been a big fan of, but like I know they're in the friend group, they're never malicious people. They're typically like, they just do shit that I don't agree with, or I just think they make really poor decisions, or I just think they're annoying. Like, I don't look at them as malicious or anything like that. So I can tolerate it, because it's like, I get that there's a difference between like being an asshole and just kind of being a personality I don't think I fuck with. It's okay. Like one is livable. So I've not had like that situation. And I have had like, because I have the personality type, I get along with all girls except ones that wear tails. And it's true. Me and my brother recognized it. We both worked somewhere for the summer, and no one knew that we were related, even though we had the same last name, because we're so different. And so he would see how girls would talk about me, and he would see how I interacted with girls, and no one like knew. And he said the only girl who didn't get along with me, or the only girl who didn't like me, was like the one to wear a tail. And the rest of them, the mean ones, the nice ones, like I just get along with girls. So sometimes I'll be like friends with a mean girl, and I won't like click on that right away. And like I've definitely like seen, and or they're just like not mean to me, but yet I will have like other girlfriends that like that girl has been mean to. Yeah. And so that's been something that I'm trying to grow in, and trying to be like, okay, I want to be a good friend, but like it's hard, because I also am a people pleaser, and I want everyone to like me. So like that's something I'm trying to work on right now, and I've gotten better at. But like in college and stuff, I definitely would fall into the, she didn't do anything wrong to me, so I'll stay friends with her, which is, it's hard, because it's like I don't want to be like mean, but also if they've been a bitch, you can't invalidate your friend like that.
I kind of stray too far to the opposite direction, where and I've been trying to find a more workable solution as I grow older.
Yeah.
And exist in like various communities where it's hard to just like have beef with people. But I used to just like hard blind loyalty. And oftentimes it would be like, my friend tells me how she's mistreated, and I would be like, fuck that guy. And then she would like forgive him. And I would be like, well, unfortunately, me and him still have beef, so this is really awkward now. And that was me all the fucking time. I mean, I'm in a situation now where like a person that a lot of people I know fuck with is like, I just have information about something that they've done that's like not mine to share, but makes it impossible for me to be friends with them.
That's a hard situation
and
to
it's
be
like
in.
I vaguely think they know, because they very clearly don't want to be near me ever. But it's like, I'm not going to make that everyone else's fucking problem. Yeah. It's not my information to share. I'm not going to force everyone else to like take a stance on this kind of thing. So it's like, I really do just have to like find a workable way to be like friendly, but not too close. And like, there was a time where like I I'm kind of an oversharer, and I am so drawn to personality types that are like very strong and like create fast friendships, because I'm like, oh my, it's being love bombed, and I'm
Yeah.
like, of course you think I'm that fucking cool. Of course you're platonically love bombing me because I'm so fucking rad. But then you just like realize like how much information about you is being revealed quite widely, and you're like, oh, this is a little uncomfortable. I kind of assumed all girls just kept secrets. Okay.
I would assume the same. Damn, yeah, I would assume the same.
But yeah, that is a big part of growing up, is like figuring out how to navigate that shit. And I would say that what you are going to find out over time is either like your friends genuinely don't know and genuinely haven't seen him do anything wrong, in which case you should try to still be a part of this friend group, but like maybe you don't host stuff because you don't want him at your house, and maybe you avoid him in group settings, and eventually more and more of them will become aware of it. And you have confided in these two people, so you can continue confiding in them, like, yeah, I found it really challenging because he was at this party, and like that shit kind of grows. Like, utilize the whisper network. It's a valuable part of society.
It is. And also like try and this isn't like
utilize the whisper network with verifiable truths. That's really important.
And like try and recognize exact moments where you can really clock that behavior, so that if it has to get like brought up, you can give really good specifics on like he literally said this about this girl and we had to meet her the next weekend or something like that. Like if you can give specifics, I think that always kind of helps.
Totally.
Yeah, it sucks that, you know, sometimes people just like aren't super like, they just won't pick up on that like right away. But like, for example, if someone can give me specifics of like a situation when something happened, I can be like, oh my gosh, you're so right, I didn't see it like that. But you're right, like that is where like you're right, I totally just like gave my friend the benefit of the doubt because they're my friend, and I'm gonna look at them with rose-colored lenses and not see super toxic behaviors right away. So I sometimes think just if you can think of specifics and pay attention to them as they come up.
100%. And also like I'm curious as to whether you're sticking up for the people who are being bullied, and whether you're speaking up in group settings, because you really don't know how many people secretly agree with you until you like make a stink at a party.
Yeah.
Until he like says something absolutely fucking out of pocket at a party, and you say, whoa, that was an unacceptable thing to say. And you can say it. My favorite thing to do is to, with a small laugh in my voice, be like, wow, that is the most uncompassionate psychopathic thing I've ever heard anyone say.
God, if you said it with that laugh to me, I'd be like, like I would be gooped.
Because people really, it fucking catches them off guard that you're brave enough to name exactly what you're fucking feeling. It is the craziest superpower to have in this world.
It's a superpower I do not have. I think it is really respectable when people can do that.
When you say that shit, everyone who has been feeling the same way will come to you and confide in you, and not to be fucking Survivor about it, but you might find you have the numbers, you know? Like if there are enough people who you can confide in the fact that you would not like him to be added to group chats of things that you're hosting, then there, you won. That's your workable solution. Maybe they still hang out with him, but he never comes to your house again because everybody knows that they can't just have him. And like maybe it means being brave enough, if it really comes to this. I think if you are brave enough to say, hey, I made this group chat to invite you guys all to this barbecue. I so don't want to be weird or cause conflict. It's just that it's happened in the past. Please don't add Mark to this group chat. It's just a boundary. He's not invited to my home. But I don't want to make that weird for anybody else or anyone else's problems. So just don't add him to the group chat. And there are some people who might be like, that's fucking weird. That's aggressive of you for no reason. But those people just ultimately weren't your friends anyway. So
they were closer to Mark to begin with.
If
100%.
it comes to that, if it ever comes to that, just like be the person who's brave enough to actually fucking do that.
And that's a really commendable thing to be, because like I'm bad at confrontation, and so I would be the friend that would be like, holy shit, I didn't know someone felt that way, because I also don't want to be the one to start the shit talking of a friend group. So I don't ever want to be that bitch to start it. But if someone like says something, because I'm just not a confrontational person, we're working on it, but we got a minute to go. So I like, that's something that if I was in that friend group and noticed it, I would really appreciate that person saying something, and I would be like, hey, like I agree with you. Like I would also like, I would love to, you know, survive, you know, vote him off the island.
And if you do go that route, I think you're going to need, I think you're going to need to have a note in your phone where you really get your thoughts in order of like,
Yes.
what exact boundaries has he crossed with what exact
specifics,
behaviors?
yes.
Because the letter that you wrote to us, which is like he has narcissistic tendencies, like that's extremely subjective and debatable. So I just think it's worth sitting down and making a list of like 3 absolutely unacceptable things that he has either said or done, why they go against your values, and why they're not things that you will compromise on or debate about.
Especially if they're objective. Like if they're objectively
Yeah.
rude, if you can find 3 concrete examples, bam, like
And
you have
for a
it. You have an
26-year-old, that's like phenomenal character growth. To know your values well enough to be able to articulate exactly why someone's actions have crossed them.
That'd be
Like
kind of hot.
that's extremely mature, and people really will respect that. And if they don't respect that, it's not people that we're going to be in your life anyway. God, the older I get, the more I end up saying that.
But honestly, it's right though. I mean, I've had the same thing where I've had like huge friend groups that have kind of, floundered, and it's like, I'm friends with some people from the group, but not everybody, and I can kind of see why. Like it's one of those things that's like it's hard to say until it's happened to you, but it will happen it happens to everybody at least once in their lives.
Yeah.
It's a part of growing up. So it doesn't make you have friendships you have friendship wisdom. That's what it is.
Yeah. It just feels cliche, I guess, is the thing.
But cliches are there for a reason. Sometimes they're true. Sometimes they're not, and they're a cliche. But like sometimes it is just like sometimes friend groups just change like that.
Yeah.
Happens, bitch.
Yeah, especially friend groups that founded over intramural sports, which is what this one was. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be brave and stay true to yourself.
And keep the notes app open, bitch.
Yeah, unfortunately, it really...
Especially if it's objectively rude. Like if it's something that you really can be like, he beats dogs. Put that in.
But then this is what I will say. When you confide in additional people about it, don't do it in writing.
Do it spoken word, whispers. Varys. Well, you don't watch Game of Thrones. He's Game of Thrones. He's not House of Dragon.
I do watch Game of Thrones. I've watched the entire series twice.
You didn't
Once very
You didn't
recently.
respond to Varys as excitedly as I thought you were going to.
Because he's not my favorite character. He's a eunuch.
And what's wrong with eunuchs?
Nothing. Well, first of all, not having balls.
Well, you know what? I would have been a eunuch during that time. I already know it. I would have been a
Wait.
eunuch in charge of the concubine.
We
I
only
know
have
what
a
I bring to the
couple
table.
of minutes left.
Yeah.
Can I? This is what I forgot about that I wanted to talk about.
Let's do it.
Adult
Questions
diaper
can
drama.
wait. Adult
Diaper drama. Okay. I posted a joke that I wrote about how I think it's insane that on packages of adult diapers, instead of seeing like happy old people in their adult diapers, it's like really young, really hot, skinny people in their adult diapers.
I've always thought that was weird, yeah.
I find that really off-putting, and I was making fun of it as an example of like advertising is so unethical and has gone too far. Anyway, I made a joke about this, about how it's crazy for it to be young, hot people, and this woman commented on it and was like, this joke is so ableist. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. And I like put my boxing gloves on, and I'm like, okay, it's not. Why do you think that? And she was like, well, there are plenty of young, hot people who are disabled and use adult diapers, and maybe they want to see themselves represented so that they can feel young and hot wearing their adult diapers. And I was like, okay, there we go. That is classic fucking savior complex. You are not a member of a marginalized community. You thought it was your moment to stick up for them, and you ended up saying something way more fucking bigoted. It is insane of you to create a fictionalized group of people in your head, young, hot people who wear adult diapers, okay? There are some of those, I'm sure, but they are not the majority of users of adult diapers. The majority of users of adult diapers are the elderly and women who just had children, okay?
Yeah.
You're creating a fictionalized group of people that are young and hot and have to wear adult diapers because they're disabled, but like, thank God they don't have to feel like disgusting old people when they're wearing their adult diapers. It's like that, if a person is genuinely thinking in that in their head, like, thank God these adult diapers are for young and hot people and not gross, disgusting people who deserve to die. It's like, that person is trash and they deserve to die, even like whether they can hold their pee or not.
Yeah.
Second of all,
Let it go. I'm ready.
no, wait, hang on. I have to reorder my thoughts. Yes, that person is trash. That fictionalized community that you came up with.
It's the haystack logic, right? Isn't that like a logical fallacy, her argument?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, the like idea that like they're gonna feel young and hot when they put on their adult diapers. You're patronizing the wearers of adult diapers, because I guarantee the few young and hot people who are disabled and wear adult diapers are not so easily fucking tricked. I don't think they feel young and hot when they put on their adult diapers. I don't think the advertising is working in that way. Do they deserve to feel young and hot? Absolutely. Everybody does. But I don't think that like whether or not they see skinny white girls on fucking adult diaper packages is going to change their emotional baggage around wearing adult diapers.
No, because society is going to tell them something
And why do you think
different.
that the primary purchasers of adult diapers do not deserve that representation? I don't like that woman.
I can
this
see
is
why.
my long form refutation, because I tried to type it all out and it was too long.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that makes complete sense. Cause you're right, because it does come off as it comes off as incredibly patronizing to people with disabilities, to just like assume we know what kind of, it'd be great is if we like talk to disabled people about like how they feel about things, because I bet you the woman who said that wasn't
Not
disabled,
disabled.
probably not close to anybody disabled, like probably just like wanted to have
Probably
the savior
close to a
complex,
lot
yeah.
of women who have had children and then worn adult diapers. She's probably close to a lot of elderly people who wear adult diapers, and she's like, fuck them. They're a disgrace to the good name of adult diapers. Don't forget about the young and hot trailblazers of adult diapers. It's like, it's so crazy how
is
fucking
really just weird.
pretty pilled you are, that like all you can think about is how everyone just deserves to feel hot.
Yeah. Well, I want everybody to feel hot.
I actually want us to live in a world where we don't feel like we have to feel hot just to like be worthy of love and dignity.
Yes, there is that. But to me, it's like a confidence thing.
Because,
Like I want everyone to feel
sure,
confident.
But also hotness really quickly loses its meaning if you're...
Hotness is temporary, confidence is forever, kind of a thing. But
But
you
also
look
like
different. People always
if
look
everybody's hot, no one's hot. So at the end of
Yeah.
the day, like, let's be fucking realistic.
Yeah.
And the fact is that like everyone deserves love and dignity in the pursuit of happiness, regardless of whether they are objectively hot or not.
And also, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So
and we should work to minimize the impact that your beauty has on you in society.
Because someone's always going to find you pretty and someone's always going to find you ugly. There are not people in the world
For
that...
example,
Yeah, that's just not a thing.
plenty of people find me pretty. Cops do not. And
Yep.
ultimately, thank God, I owe them $170 now. So
Damn. But no, yeah, like literally someone who finds one person attractive could find the other person to be very not. So if you focus on the things that do matter and the things that aren't subjective, like being like treating people with respect
or
and
wearing
like,
adult diapers.
or eating blue raspberry candy, like those are the things that matter, and being attractive is literally only what someone perceives for you. Or how you perceive yourself. All it is perception. It's going to change. The other things are the things that don't. And yeah, so I agree with you. Yeah.
That was beautiful. That wraps us up for today.
Beautiful, beautiful.
My name's Hannah Jones. You can find me at Hannah Jones Cool.
And my name is Calvin. You can find me at Calvin Reed, REID_.
And thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.
Bye.